Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So I've just cleared chapter 32 in the main storyline, and now I am doing my first attempt at the very hard Another Dungeon of new location. So I would like to just show you how I'm going to plan to survive, and just my strategies as I'm doing it as well. So you can see I'm bringing Suzette, Leclerc, Tuva, and Mariel. Suzette mainly for her Valor chant. The main boss is actually resistant to wind, so it is not the best choice, but I do like her 30% boost on power and intelligence. Of course, Leclerc is always very useful with her 3x hits, as well as her power debuff. Tuva, well, the boss doesn't have any weaknesses, and the mobs can be cleared with the Great Wall in conjunction with Aiming Flood. So I figured by bringing those two, at least it will make the journey through to the boss a little bit easier. And in the back, I have Annabelle for her intelligence debuff with Holy Saber. I'm also bringing Guildna. Now, for those who don't know, this dungeon does grant Shadow to Guildna, so he is worth putting into your party if you can manage to survive with 5 main characters and then one character that you're not going to be using. The enemies here are pretty tough, and they recommend level 72. So I wouldn't recommend putting Guildna in, especially on very hard, unless you do have a full team of 5 stars. You could bring a mix of 5 and 4 stars, but it'll just make it tougher and it'll just take a lot longer. Okay, so the first area is done. I'm going to challenge the horror. So if you've gone through the main storyline, you'll know that a lot of his attacks are fire-based, either fire single target or fire AoE. Using Aurora Force with Mariel will really mitigate the damage. And of course, if you bring any water-type characters who are naturally resistant to fire, that will help a lot. Or in the case of some of the mages, they have naturally high spirit to resist a lot of those attacks. So I'm rotating Annabelle here just to try to land a Holy Saber. Other than the massive fire AoEs, there's really not much to be threatened with, even though the horror is level 82. So I would just grind it down with whichever team you have. Again, I don't believe this horror has any weaknesses, so we'll just continue landing hit after hit after hit and powering it up. So you can see Mushroom Bomb after Aurora Force really doesn't do much damage. Again, using my standard waifu, Suzette, to deal some more damage with Dragon Assault. I really wish I could have pulled AS version, but unfortunately the RNG gods were not with me this particular last few pulls. If I do save up another 1,000 stones through grinding, I will keep on trying for Suzette AS until the banner passes, as I'm sure many of you are as well. That being said, I do have enough chant scripts if it doesn't go well, in which case I'll slowly try to go for her AS Tomb. I understand that the drop rate is very, very, very low, and you'll still need 5 of those on top of 5 chant scripts, so not very optimistic about that, but again, I'm planning to play this game for a long time, so if and when all those tombs drop, then I'll be the first to share it with you. So standard stuff, I rotated the appropriate characters to the back, rotated them back to the front to activate all their Valor chants, and landing a bunch of damage onto the horror here. In this case, Mariel doesn't have her Holy Burst attack, so she's only got Pure Cradle, Cure Leaf, as well as Aurora Force, so she's not useful for damaging anyone. Okay, so here we go. On to second. Oh, I think I just tilted my iPad upside down, so I do apologize for that. I clipped that section out, and I did finish the second section without any trouble. There was another horror there, so I beat both horrors in one run. Might as well, because after all, you will need a lot of these materials to craft other weapons. So just 5 more encounters in the mob encounters here. I am starting to rotate characters to the back to kind of regen some of their MP and HP. I haven't used food yet, so I usually use food right before the boss. So as long as I can maintain a relative amount of health for the last few mob encounters, then we'll be fine. So again, just to be on the safe side, leave one character out to finish off the mob here while everyone regenerates in the back. It is kind of boring, and I realize it's not the most awesome way to win a battle, but if you want to maintain your MP and HP levels, this is pretty much the only way to do it, especially in very hard other lands or in very hard dungeons. The next time I run through this dungeon, I'll probably bring a different team, especially since I did realize that the boss is wind resistant. You'll see my strategy once we encounter the boss itself. So obviously, if you have more 5 stars, you can kind of play around with your 5-star team and put which characters you would like to best suit your needs. But certainly, like all dungeons, I recommend having multiple characters that can do debuffs, either physical or power, intelligence. If you can buff yourself, that's great, but I prefer to do more damage rather than be defensive. Okay, so same thing. Great Wall with Tuva, aiming Flood with LeClaire. Usually able to kill almost everyone. And you can see not much health left, so the second round we'll be able to easily kill the mob. So just grabbing the last treasure chest here. Being that they're all new mobs here, at least you can grind up to 100 defeated ones of each to get a few extra chronostones if you haven't already done so. I sped through each of the chapters so far, so I will have to go back and finish off 100 of each, both for the achievement as well as some of the drops, so I can craft all the new weapons. Okay, so we're at the boss here, and we're going to we've used our food array, and we're going to take it on. So again, this is the White Envoy Dragon. So this boss uses a mix of physical as well as wind attacks that are AoE. If you don't mitigate the single target physical, it doesn't do that much damage, about 900. What you do have to be worried about is its wind AoE, so highly recommend casting Aurora Force. And you can see with Aurora Force up, the damage is relatively low. The boss actually has 2 wind AoEs. One's a little bit weaker than the other. There you go, this is the stronger one, the Storm's Breath. So you can see it's green in color. Also, I didn't notice this in the main storyline, but at 25% HP, that is when you've damaged 25% of it, it'll do buffs to itself, as well as do a fire AoE. So there you go, the fire AoE breath, and then the roar to boost speed, intelligence, and power. So again, being that it has no resistances to damage other than wind, just keep on doing what you normally do. I'm using Demonic Thrust because it's non-elemental, and Tuva clearly can do what she does. Her Call to the Dark also heals, so it's nice. I realize it doesn't do as much damage as her other 2 times hit, but I prefer using Call to the Dark just to be a little bit more safe. So I'm about to rotate back Suzette to finish off the boss with a large AF. And again, I realize that Dragon Assault won't be very useful here, so I'm going to have to do it properly. Dark Deal with Tuva. Everyone's back in. And let's go! Should be enough to kill it off. Again, for those who don't know, this is a shadow-based dungeon, so you will need 120 shadow if you want max rewards. I don't have a 120 shadow team, so I only get the first 2 rewards. And you will need to grind this for 10 Psalms, which is another kind of tomb required for Aldo to upgrade from 4-star to 5-star. So lots and lots of grinding for everybody. Okay, so let's see what we get. The gems. So that's a new addition for update 1.5.100. So you'll be able to trade those in. And again, you can earn 120 per week. So 10 for each red key that you burn. And you'll be able to trade all of these in at the Emporium. So save up lots and lots. You can get shiny mob drops, chant scripts, and so on and so forth. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Don't forget my Patreon.